Welcome to NBNR, the authority on unfiltered opinions and authentic player insight for Nebraska athletics. Connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, and at NBNRpodcast.com.
We have a saying, no block, no rock.
You know, we just really love Utter. He's a junkyard dog.
Kenny Bell ran up to me and was like, you know what you just did?
You get mad when you going to get in the portal and go to another podcast?
You know, usually dumbbells are in pairs. They had 5 dumbbells.
Dang on it, Muhammad!
GBR. Go Big Red Indeed. No Block, No Rock. Season 2. Episode 44. We are 39 days away from kickoff in Ireland. 39.
Whew. And I just want to note that's the first time Jared has ever listened to the intro and then said,
Yeah.
Go Big Red Indeed, because we're testing out the live show gig
I'll
right
tell you
now.
what,
Yeah.
you timed it fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have people staring at us.
How many people are staring at us right now?
I would
like a
guess
solid
somewhere between 400 and 500.
Let's take 2 zeros off that.
For
please.
those of you listening, I promise that's accurate.
Well, it's like I could see my wife staring at me, and I know that like she's gonna yell at me, but like she can't. So it's pretty sweet.
You could just say anything you want.
Yeah, right. This is my platform. Literally, we're on a platform.
With a lot of holes in it.
Yeah, might
It's
die. We might die.
It's okay, Connor.
It's a very slight maybe.
Okay, let's do some house cleaning here. We are in the Nebraska Brewing Company tap room, 108th and Harrison in La Vista, Nebraska. When you come to this tap room, go get Mike's beer. What is he drinking right now?
Oh.
I'm drinking the Nebraska Brewing Company EOS. It is the Hefeweizen. It's got that banana taste to it. We actually have some family in Germany right now, and he said he's drinking all the Hefs right now. So in respect to somebody chilling out in Germany, I figured I'll get a German beer.
There you go.
I love that after we just said we're in the NBC tap room, you specified that it's the Nebraska Brewing
Hey,
Company EOS Hefeweizen.
It's a paid sponsor, right?
Wait, we get paid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much?
Well,
What am I missing here?
You're not
Yeah.
getting paid.
Well, you're not getting paid.
That's
Dude,
fine. I don't care. I don't do this for the money. I do this because I love it.
And
And the TikTok fame.
the beer's pretty cool,
yeah,
too.
the TikTok fame is a big one.
God, you guys suck. Speaking of beer, Kyle, before you take, hold on, let him take a sip. Let him take a sip. Hold up.
Yeah,
Let it
give me a
fester.
second.
Let him savor it.
All right, go ahead.
What you drinking? What you drinking?
I've got the taco Vesa now.
Say
I
it
have to
right.
say it. All right, taco Vesa.
Yeah, it's perfect.
See.
Yeah, I had the shake and bake along with Jared earlier,
Mhm.
but yeah, switched it up a little bit. You know, keep it light. You get too many of these things in you. I start slurring my words a little bit on the old podcast. So
It's a deadly beer because it's so light you can crush it and then you don't realize that you've gone too far until you're already there.
Yeah, the thing
Yeah.
that you have to do on a podcast kind of fucks it up.
yeah,
You know, the whole
Yeah.
talking kind of thing of the.
and I don't want to say I have to. I mean, it's a privilege to be able to drink this delicious beer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
yeah.
you.
and you wouldn't want to have to call Carly and come pick you up.
Yeah, the walk of shame out to my wife's car because I drank too much on the podcast.
No Block, No Rock, sponsored by Uber.
Yeah.
No
Just
sponsor.
kidding. No free plugs.
No
Yeah.
free plugs. Is anyone going to ask what I'm?
What
Jared-
are you drinking,
Oh,
Jeremy?
okay. Oh, sorry. I'm drinking the classic NBC Pilsner.
Oh, my man.
Connor, do you have a
Oh.
nickname for this thing?
Heaven.
Fair enough.
To put it lightly.
Listen, when I drink it, it's pretty close to heaven.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
close.
Like I'm floating on clouds right now.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
I don't want to shock anybody that if you've been listening to the podcast, I think you know my answer. I am also drinking the Pilsner. I'm not going to wait for anyone to ask me because I'm not Jared. The TikTok king really needs to be catered to.
Are we still doing that?
Absolutely, we are.
It's not going to end anytime soon either.
I'm gonna
No.
get it all out of your system, guys.
Okay, let's get out of our system. For those of you who don't know, No Block, No Rock has a TikTok. For those of you who also don't know,
No block, no talk.
Jared's face is on a green screen for our TikToks. So it's pretty good.
It's
Like,
magical, really.
yeah, you need to just
He's nothing short of an American hero.
yeah. So he's TikTok famous, no big deal.
I think a few people in our audience liked some of our TikTok videos.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're here, I'd imagine.
I would hope.
Well, the
yeah.
400 to 500 people that are watching right now, you know.
Yeah, I would imagine at least 375 have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the latest video that I pushed out there. No, I don't want to say it garnered controversy. That's a little too much. We're not that big yet. But it involved Adrian Martinez, a certain quarterback that we all know, and how things didn't go 100%
It-
good.
It
In
sparked
clutch moments.
conversation. It sparked conversation.
It's sparked conversation. That's all we can do is, hey, we put things out there. We ask questions. However you want to respond to it, that's your business.
That's all we do is talk. So that's what we want.
Hey, I
That's
just
fair.
throw it out there, and however you react is how you react. I can't control that. However you feel doesn't change what the facts are, right?
Right.
So, okay, let's get this thing started. Fan Day is July 26th. And my main question is, Kyle, I know you're going, but how many people are you going to bother?
So the joke behind that is, it's like a family tradition of mine. My grandma paints a portrait of, the favorite player of the year or whatever. And we used to go to Fan Day and get the painting signed every year at Fan Day. So that's kind of where that comes from. But no, those paintings are, my grandma's retired from painting. So nope, Kyle won't be there bothering anybody this year.
Oh,
That's too bad. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure there's some paintings out there that need to be signed still, but
Yeah, there
just
are.
waiting to be signed.
Yeah, and one day with this platform, I will squeeze my way in to bribing somebody to sign a painting. So
A painting of you.
right, yeah,
Sign this.
I've already signed it. So
Not weird.
have you guys, besides Kyle, because we know that's like a family tradition,
Yeah.
have you guys ever been to Fan Day?
I've only gone with my brother and nephew.
Okay.
That's it.
I went when I was a lot younger, but I don't know that I've been since. And to be honest, I don't really have a ton of interest in going. I don't want them to beat me up for all the things I say about them.
Yeah.
Wait, you're that guy on that
Yeah.
shitty podcast.
Especially like 13-year-old Connor. Like that is the most punchable human I've ever met.
Dude, even
13?
27-year-old
I was gonna say,
Connor, incredibly punchable.
13.
I'm surprised you guys haven't reached across this table already.
No, that's why we have two.
Yeah.
We
I
do,
keep you at arm's length there.
where do we get our beer if we've got a restraining order?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to exercise caution.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Let's get into Richie Incognito. Low key, I'm not going to
how-
say he's my favorite player.
That's how we start.
Let's just dive in.
All right.
So he is officially retired. And this has kind of brought up, past transgressions that he has done and fans saying that he shouldn't be celebrated for some of the shenanigans that he pulled, both on the field and off the field as well. Guys, just your general takeaway from Richie Incognito at large. And I don't mean by the law,
because he is large.
No, he's in trouble
Well,
criminally.
that too.
That's what I meant.
I want to be very clear that I think Richie Incognito, coming out of Nebraska, is arguably like one of the coolest players ever. But he should in no way be viewed as a role model. I think he's cool in the sense that just like he did whatever the fuck he wanted at any given time, and that's very cool. But then there was also like, I think we all know what incident I was getting ready to refer to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, say it.
The whole funeral thing.
Jonathan Martin thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There were a lot of things he did that were like pretty goddamn wrong.
Why did he do that?
But, like, when he comes, I think he was a Dolphin at the time.
Yep.
When it came out, there was like, oh, he was like, hosting team meetings at strip clubs. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
I'm
building
not-
team
yeah,
chemistry.
He's not a role model. I want to be very clear. He's not a role model.
Nor did
Not
he ever
for
say
you. Not
No,
for you.
But there's like 10% of me that was like, damn, this guy was pretty cool.
Nor did he ever claim to be a
No,
role
yeah.
model.
And he was,
that's not
pretty
his,
open about that.
That's not his job.
He was pretty open about that.
Well, he was a mean motherfucker, and
Yeah.
he was a mean motherfucker in college, all the way through the NFL, and I think he finished on top as still just a mean, bad motherfucker. So
Yeah.
I think he has that on his business cards.
yeah, mean, bad motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
Retired mean bad motherfucker now.
That's
He's
right.
got to get a new set. Vistaprint sponsor him.
You hear about the things that he's done, his family stuff, and you'll see him in like a sit-down interview. Like I saw one recently when he was with Colin Cowherd. He's a sociopath.
For sure.
Like he's very articulate and he's very, fact, and he's like cold about it. And you can just tell you put that dude on the field and it's just like, beep, 180. Your head is coming off. I don't care if I get a penalty. I don't care if I get suspended. Your head is mine.
Well, and you said it too. Like you wish you had a line full of Richie Incognito. It's like,
Yeah.
I think
Honestly,
we would be really good.
Yeah. That was a dude that was out there. Like, obviously he's out there to win games.
Yeah.
But that was a dude that every play was going to kill the man across from him.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
On the field.
Yes,
That's
on the
all
field.
that's all we're celebrating.
Well, yeah,
okay?
we're not referencing anything else.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. We acknowledge he was a jackass,
Yeah.
Sure.
both on the field and off it, but we recognize the jackass and celebrate the jackass that was on the field, and that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree.
Next thing that we want to talk about is media days coming up. Now, the three guys that have been announced are Quentin Newsome, Garrett Nelson, and Travis Vokalek, all going to Indy to represent Nebraska. You know, I think of Quentin Newsome, and I think of a future NFL guy.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he's athletic as all get out, very good player. Garrett Nelson is Garrett Nelson. What else? What else can you say?
I think you hit it on the nose there.
The dude is very passionate about Nebraska football.
Dude
Yeah.
is Nebraska football.
He is Nebraska football.
Yeah.
And Travis Vokalek. Okay, so the interesting thing about Travis Vokalek is he is a transfer from another Big Ten program.
Rutgers.
Exactly. And so I'm just kind of thinking of, what could the positives be with that? Like, you can kind of compare Rutgers and Nebraska. Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's a sad day when we have to say
I
that.
think they still won more games than us last year. So.
Greg Schiano is a pretty good coach.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting. We have a player that transferred from a fellow Big Ten program that's going to represent Nebraska. So takeaways from these three guys going there. There was some hubbub about fans questioning Casey Thompson going or not going.
Yeah.
So just your thoughts in general, guys.
My thoughts in general, just Quentin Newsome, it kind of just came out of left field a little bit for me, at least personally, was because, he's been a solid player every time, especially against like Oklahoma last year.
Yeah.
Against the big guys, right? Like Ohio State, Michigan, like he held his own, and he was targeted pretty heavily last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's been a solid player, but you don't necessarily see him
You'll
hear
hear about
the-
him, really?
as the
No.
face of Nebraska football. So when they announced that he was going to be out there, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like he must be doing a lot of work inside the building and not so much, doing all the talk on the outside. So
Yeah, that's like his recognition kind of for all
Yeah.
the work he's put in, right?
Well, and if you're a DB, like if your name's not being called, that's a good thing. So like I think
Yeah.
that speaks to how well he's played. And I said last year, like all year, I was like Quentin Newsome's our best defensive back. He was better than Cam Taylor-Britt. And so I think he's the next wave. You had Lamar Jackson get drafted, and then he didn't get drafted, but you had him go to the NFL, then you have CTB get drafted, and now Quentin Newsome's the next guy. So next man up. Let's touch on that Casey Thompson thing, though.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, the reason that Casey Thompson isn't going to Big Ten Media Days is
His
because
thumb.
yeah, no. So his thumb stops him from getting on a plane and going to Indianapolis. Yeah,
Right. He can't hold the microphone or sit at a table and talk. Anyway.
yeah. No, I mean, I think it's Scott Frost not trying to show his hand on the starting quarterback, but I mean, if Casey Thompson is not your starting quarterback, is that like concerning?
I would certainly say so. I mean, with the effort that we went to go through to get Casey and him coming here again, we've talked a million times about, he led the Big 12 in passing yards and in touchdowns, I believe. It's one of those things that Chubba Purdy's a very talented quarterback. I'm not going to say he's not. We've seen very little of him,
Right.
But to say he's not talented, I think is an absolutely insane statement. But like you said, I think not sending a quarterback right now is keeping that competition open and keeping that drive for those two guys, because I think it really is between only those two. And keeping that drive, so it's like, you got to earn this until we have to name a quarterback.
Yeah, and Mike, you're asking if Chubba is the starter over Casey, if that would be concerning. Not if Chubba's better
Yeah, well,
than Casey.
I don't give a shit who the
Yeah.
quarterback is.
And so one of the quotes that kind of made the rounds last week was Chubba saying that he hopes that it's a fair competition.
Ooh.
Are we making the media kind of touched on it on the radio and all that?
We
Too
are
much?
the media.
We're
Yeah,
not
we
the
are
media.
the
That's the best
media.
part.
We're Ave media.
So, like, do you have any, like, thoughts about Chubba kind of, I don't want to say questioning if it's a fair competition, but he did say those words. And I realize that players say things. They're not freaking philosophers, right? So, like, did you take anything away from him saying he wants it to be a fair competition?
Well, I guess going into that, it's what we've heard the last, we'll say, month Even when we had Travis Justice on, I mean, he's like, "Are you sure, Casey? Are you sure Casey's going to be the starting quarterback?"
Mm-hmm.
And then we're hearing that Chuba's putting in work in the offseason and Casey's nursing a thumb. So I don't know. I mean, there could be smoke, but I would still bet my money, and I'm not a betting guy, but it's like if I'm going to bet my money, it's going to be that Casey Thompson's the starting quarterback for Nebraska next year. But
sure.
I mean, it's concerning if he's not. Like, you transferred from Texas, you led the Big 12 in passing, and you're going to sit behind a guy who played one game at Florida State. So
right, that's concerning.
That's concerning.
Yeah.
Unless he's that much better.
Exactly. And again, I think we really haven't seen that much from Chuba yet. So immediately, yes, it would be concerning to see Chuba come in above Casey. Again, we're talking about his thumb injury, and that can certainly be a factor. But I hate to be the guy that's going to sit here and drink the Kool-Aid. But I trust this coaching staff that we have right now to make the appropriate decision. If we get to that point and they decide Chuba is going to be our guy, Chuba's going to be our guy.
Sorry.
I'm going to stand behind whoever is going to be taking that first snap no matter what.
I don't trust this 15 and 29 coaching staff.
Hold on, no.
Well, I mean, this is not a 15 and 29 coaching
listen,
staff.
I remember that we changed a lot around the head guy. That's my mistake.
Yeah.
My mistake.
I don't know. All I'm going to say on the topic is if I hear pitch count at the start of fall camp,
that's bad.
Bad news.
Bad news.
Yeah.
We've already heard that, though. I know.
I think that was the point.
I know. I'm okay. No controversy at quarterback at all. Nope.
None.
Moving on.
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever. It's perfect. It's fine. It's perfect.
But if you think about it,
I don't want to.
Chuba was getting recruited hard by Mark Whipple before he came to Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Then Mark Whipple comes to Nebraska, and Chuba Purdy ends up at Nebraska. So it's like that relationship they have.
But then you have Whipple going out and saying Casey's the guy,
right?
With his socks on.
To that point,
no shoes.
The Whipple and Chuba relationship right there tells me, why is Purdy now making comments about, I hope it's a fair competition? If he thinks that relationship is a pro for him because he was being recruited by Whipple before, where is this disconnect where Purdy might think it's not a fair competition? That's my big question.
I think some people would say that we're making too much of the quote then.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we probably are.
That's probably fair.
Yeah,
right?
and some people might be right.
Yeah, well, that's what we do, right? We blow little things up, right?
We wouldn't have a show if we didn't.
Right.
And we wouldn't have all these people here.
All the 400 people.
All of the people. Cheers.
I think we're up around like 800 now. The room, the whole building is packed. They're stacked.
God, they're
around the
bumping in.
corner.
I can't even talk in the mic. Come on, Brett.
Please keep it down,
Big boy. Okay. So let's talk about special teams and Bill Busch going on Sports Nightly. And he talked a little bit more about incoming transfer kicker Timmy Bleakroad. I hate that name, by the way.
Bleakroad.
Timmy.
I kind of like
Timmy. Timmy.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I want
like
Timmy hitting me field goals from deep all season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some merch coming with that.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay. So speaking of from deep, I guess. So he was 9 for 9
Beauty.
at Furman inside the 40.
Woo!
Let's go. You got to start somewhere, baby.
Yep.
I will take it. I mean, what is our field goal percentage been over the last few seasons?
Yeah. Where's the floor?
Is there
whatever's above that?
Yeah.
I'll take.
Is there a nice way to say dog shit? So like and you're 9 for 9 within 40. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about that.
Yeah. No,
But-
you're not wrong.
Let's put our shoes back on from 2021.
Yeah, Mark Whipple.
We have Mark fucking Whipple. We had the Big Ten Kicker of the Year, right? And guess what?
Well,
2021 came around
and then football was played.
yeah, and then the football missed the goalpost again and again and again and again. So I don't give a shit what Timmy says or does at Furman
Timmy.
until he starts doing shit at Nebraska. I don't give a shit.
Well, so let's just get a little bit more into what Bill Busch said specifically about Timmy. He said, he's a very good soccer player, and all of his coaches back to his high school coach said he had a very steady demeanor and that, quote, nothing rattles him. Okay, I read that quote, and I think, do you guys remember Connor Culp's face?
Yes.
After he missed, I don't remember the specific field goal, but it was like that dude, I legit felt sorry and bad for him. No, I'm not even like Mike, you're laughing, but dude, I was looking at him and I go, like as a human being, not a football player.
Oh yeah.
Like this dude is in over his head right now. There's fans in the stands.
I thought his soul left his body. I thought he was
Yeah.
just dead. Like the pain in those eyes.
Yeah, and clearly rattled, right?
Yeah.
And so I read that and I go, I hope to God that he's going to be kicking in front of 80+ thousand.
Mm-hmm.
And Culp was great with empty stands, and he won Big Ten Kicker of the Year. And Mike, you've said yourself that he did miss a few kicks
That cost us games.
that cost us games.
Yes.
Right?
A few is a nice way to say it.
Yeah.
No, we're talking even in 2020, the COVID
Oh
season.
yeah. Oh,
When
during that season, yeah.
The
Still.
kicks that he missed were the kicks that
Game
cost us
winners,
games.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he somehow wins Big Ten Kicker of the Year, and everybody's hyping about him. And I said, going into last year, I said, I'm not on his jock like everybody else is. I think the kicks he missed were important last year. And then you fill a stadium, and guess what? He missed a lot of kicks.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the percentages from that COVID year, and like they were probably the best in the Big Ten or whatever. But yeah, you get fans in there, and it changes things. Okay, and a narrative that I hear a lot right now is with Bleak Road coming in and Boom Sheeny.
Mm-hmm.
They're both coming in from those FCS programs, and a lot of people have said, look, it's the same ball, okay?
Yeah.
It should translate smoothly.
Yeah.
The environments are
The environments
incredibly-
are 180% different.
Yeah.
180%. Not 360, because that'd be the same thing, okay? Because you're going back around the full way.
Right. Full way.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think of Culp, and I think of empty stands, great.
No, there was people in the stands.
Cardboards, right.
Yeah, cardboard cutouts of me.
Yeah, they were waving their hands going, woo! I'm just saying, like, Culp is the perfect example of you go from a different environment to another freaking hostile, or even not even hostile, like a home crowd of red-clad MFers that want to win games, okay? We're not effing around.
Yeah.
And so don't miss a kick, because you're going to get the boo birds
Yeah.
coming out. Boo!
And I think you almost get really spotlighted as a kicker, especially with
Oh my-
the special teams woes that we faced recently. The spotlight's on you. And coming from Furman, going into Nebraska, I mean, not that it's a direct comparison, but you're not going to send a kid from like Midlands here in Nebraska and send him into fucking Death Valley.
Right.
Like it's an incredibly different environment. And I understand, that coach saying, he can't be rattled, but until you experience that environment, you don't know that.
Yeah. Well, and it's so funny that you mentioned like the spotlight, especially after all of our woes on special teams. Think back to Northwestern last year, the 80-yard punt, the cheer, the crowd went nuts
Absolutely
after that.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went nuts because we haven't seen it. We've sucked so bad on special teams that the best thing that could happen is somebody bombs at 80 yards.
Is
Like,
it
Yeah.
weird that I root more for our special teams than I do just our regular offense?
Are you wearing black
that's-
and gold? Like
Yeah.
you look like it.
Right. Well, that's the caveat to this year as well, right? Not only are they changing environments, but more than ever, fans are paying attention to special teams. More than ever.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, more than 5 years ago, like we are looking at each kicker and punter and going, do your job.
Yeah.
Where before, they were probably good at their job, so they could get away with it, and fans didn't really think twice about it. But now it's like, okay,
All eyes
help us
on
win.
you.
Yep, you're on an island, right? You're standing out there. The snap's coming. You better be ready to kick that sucker through the uprights, or you're gonna get booed.
Yep.
Right. Well, and
You know?
Nebraska's been so spoiled for years and years and years of just spectacular special teams and specialists here that I feel like they just didn't give a shit. Like they just knew the kick was going to go in. They knew the punts were going to be fine. And then like since Mike Riley, it's
Ugh.
just been absolute hell and dog shit for.
Well, even if you look at like Bruce Reed's, when he led the special teams, like the whole metrics, like they weren't. I think he might have been like top 50 one year, and people gave him shit for it. And it's like, we talk about Bo Pelini too, and how we took that for granted. We took Bruce Reed for granted. We're hoping we want Bill Bush to be Bruce Reed,
Mm-hmm.
basically this year.
Like just don't fuck up.
Top 50,
Right?
Top 50 would be great for me.
And here's a thought: don't give points to the other team every possible way imaginable.
Punt it that way.
Yep.
I'm pointing forward,
Yep.
not backward. Okay. All right. Yeah. Low ceiling, low bar there. Okay. Mike really, 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 really wants to talk about this. It was just announced today that media availability in the middle of the season is going to be limited to head coach Scott Frost, Whipple, and Chins, the best coach on the staff. No position coaches, so no Bill Bush, no Mickey Joseph. thoughts, overreaction, care, don't care, go.
I care. Okay, so have you guys ever seen like Meet the Fockers, Meet the Parents, all that shit? You have the circle of trust, right?
Yeah.
And you have Scott Frost, and he's like, okay, the only people I can trust are my offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. But you have Mickey Joseph, who has associate head coach next to his name, and he can't speak to the media. Is that not concerning to you?
It's a bit odd to me. It seems like a very relevant guy to have in those press conferences, in those interviews. It seems incredibly relevant to have him there. I mean, he's directing recruiting at the moment, correct? Yeah. He is our associate head coach. Why is this guy, who is an instrumental part of the team, being silenced?
Yeah.
What is with that? That's weird.
I think that'll be the main thing that I miss, right? When we had Mitch Sherman on, what did he say about Mickey Joseph? He's very upfront. He's very frank. Doesn't pull punches. Honest. And whether we're having a good season or a bad one, I'm going to miss hearing Mickey Joseph talk.
In his opinion of the current state of his room.
Yeah, because I feel like he's going to be honest and, hey, this guy didn't do very well. That's why he didn't play, or et cetera. He didn't block, so he didn't get the freaking rock, right? Et cetera. So, I mean, I don't really care. I know a lot of people are going to make a big deal of it. I just don't really care. Just nose to the grindstone, dude. Do your job. No matter what we hear during the season anyway, what are we going to say? It's all about the field results. I don't care what you say, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Your talk's big. I don't care about it. Just do the on-field stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to say anyway.
That's kind of my take on it, is the media availability to those coaches. In the past, it's always been people kind of criticizing, like, well, why is this person saying this and why is that person saying this? And that's been this year, this offseason especially. Why is Mark saying that Casey's the starter, and why is Scott Frost saying they don't have a starter? Like, it's always just this big commotion or whatever. And my biggest takeaway is just that give us the three most important coaches: offense, defense, and the head coach, and
streamline communication.
The rest of them, just focus on your job. That's all I want.
I disagree. I mean, we just hired a special teams coordinator finally. What has cost us games for the last 4 years under Scott Frost? Special teams.
And what are Nebraska fans most concerned about right now?
Well, they should be concerned about the offensive line.
Sure.
But special teams, right?
Yeah. Again, the spotlight is on special teams. So why are we not going to be able to hear directly from our special teams coach?
Scott Frost has not proven in the past that he takes special teams seriously. So if you don't get to hear about special teams in any of the pressers for the entire season, does that tell you that he's still taking special teams serious?
It'll continue that narrative that he doesn't give a shit about it. And he's not prioritizing it.
That's what I'm saying.
That'll, especially if things don't go well. But if things do go well and Timmy makes 40-yard kicks consistently, we're not going to be talking about it, right? We're going to. What would Bill Bush say if he was making kicks? He kicked ball good. Cool. So, next, if he's not doing good, we're going to want to hear stuff. But no matter what he says, we're going to say, "Shut up, get someone better in there." Then, right?
So my issue is let's say Timmy succeeds, and obviously, I think all of us at this table are praying that he does succeed.
Well, fuck.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well,
it's a low bar. It's a low bar. But let's say he succeeds, and we don't really hear much about it. What is that going to do for special teams recruiting as we look for better and better kickers, as they recognize that they're not as valued as a lot of these other players because they're not being talked about? They're not talking about the success that special teams is having. I think that can become, well, maybe minor. I think it certainly can be an aspect to, recruits in the future that is like, it doesn't matter how well I play. As long as I do my job, they're just not going to say anything about me.
I mean, look, the thing is we want Scott Frost to be a CEO, right? I don't know how your business dealings here at Nebraska Brewing Company go, but I highly doubt the managers are going to these huge meetings and things like that. They want to hear from the people they want to hear from the CEO. They don't want to hear from the managers and the people down below. And
Connors.
I want Connor to talk.
But again,
they want the CEO, right? So in my opinion, everything is reporting up to Scott Frost. So if you have questions, he should know the answer. You don't need 15 different people talking to the media.
And so I understand that point, but in my opinion, I would call, from the CEO standpoint, Mickey Joseph is our vice president.
Yeah.
Why the hell is he not involved in this?
Yeah. I mean,
associate head coach next to his name. Why is he not being involved?
But
that's what's weird.
The associate head coach.
Circle of trust.
the associate head coach title, we talked about it with Mitch Sherman. It's just so we can get more money.
Well, hey,
I get it, but like, you know, with those words next to your name, I feel like it's incredibly relevant. Like if you're going to have head coach and the two big coordinators, have your associate head coach there too. I think that's a very fair thing to ask for.
I'm going to galaxy brain this. Okay.
Do it.
Hold on. Let me. Maybe Trev Alberts anticipates the season won't go well. And
maybe
if Mickey Joseph is out front and they're losing games, fans are going to associate the losing with Mickey Joseph.
Oh.
And look.
Okay. No,
look,
I like where you're going. I like
a
where
conspiracy.
you're going.
This is InfoWars now. They're turning the front. Anyway.
Let's flip that, though, on the other side.
Good hold on that one.
So Scott Frost isn't letting Mickey Joseph talk. Is that because he doesn't trust him? Like, does he know? Like, hey, I know Mickey's on the staff regardless of if I succeed, Mickey's still going to be here. Like, you know, like he's not stupid. Scott Frost isn't stupid. If we all know that Mickey has a spot on this staff regardless of what happens to Scott Frost,
right?
Do you think that adds a little animosity towards that? Like, hey, I don't really like Scott Frost. I mean, I don't really like Mickey Joseph because he got special treatment.
Yeah, well, guess what? You're in this position
because
you fucking sucked, right? You sucked up until this point.
Yeah.
What grounds do you have to question anything that I do?
Yeah,
Nothing.
I don't think
Scott?
Frost has a foot to stand on if that's the argument. It's
but
like,
it's a valid concern.
Yeah, I just
trust amongst the staff. Of course it is. Of course, but where you have no basis to question anything I do, Scott. Just win games.
Yeah.
Get out of my office. Go back on the field. Hire some more coaches. You know, work off of the facility. You know, do what you have to do to win.
I mean, this is what we do, right? We break things down to conspiracies and all this other stuff. I literally think it's just focus on your job. Let me handle the media. That's it.
That's fine. And if he is finally embracing the role of CEO, I like the path of 3 forms of communication, and they're all on the same wavelength, and you're good.
Right.
But that means that him and Whipple have to be on the same wavelength too, because
And that's
in the spring they were not. It was you know, Scott saying, "Hey, there's no quarterback competition." You know, or Scott saying there's competition, and Whipple's like, "No, Casey's our guy." So it's like they got to be on the same wavelength.
Maybe this can segue to the Frost Whipple dynamic. We've already seen how it can be. I don't want to say frayed, but a little inconsistent in their messaging. Right?
A little disconnected.
On the Talk Ticks, I posted a video asking fans.
The TikTok king.
The TikTok king.
Bow down.
He's wearing a crown right now, for those of you that can't see him.
Burger King crown, bro.
We asked him not to, and he demanded that he could wear it.
You don't tell me. Okay, so I posted a video on there asking fans if there's a questionable play call. It doesn't need to be one particular play, the 4th and 1 shotgun, running back tripping over his feet. Not that one. Any play that is questionable throughout the year and you don't win the game. You ask Frost, hey, so what was... Scott, thanks for doing this. Because you have to say that before every question.
Yep.
What was the logic behind calling that particular play in that instance? And if Scott Frost says, Whipple is the one that calls the plays now, you ask him, how are fans going to react? Are they going to say, damn it, Frost, you're the CEO now. You're supposed to know every inkling of your team. This is your team. You came back here. You're supposed to own this shit. So answer the question. Or are fans going to say, you know, that's a good point, because we asked Scott Frost to give the reins over and trust someone else with the offense. So where are fans going to, you know, react and stand on that if he gives an answer? So I think it's another interesting Whipple-Frost dynamic going forward.
I compare it to, you know, we've got 4 years of proof that maybe Scott Frost isn't ready for the Big Ten. Okay, we've got 4 years of proof of that. 15 and 29. We have to say it at least once every episode.
At least once.
That might be the 3rd time. So.
Yeah.
Say it again.
15
and you'll get
29,
it 3 times more.
Yeah, after 4 years, right? And we say, and the fans, the majority says, nope, bring them back.
Anyway.
Kyle was actually the one that said that.
I know. Look, I'm one of them. But
yeah.
It's ultimately, if you have another losing season next year, all you can say to those people are, this is what you asked for. You had 4 years of proof. You wanted him back. You got more of that proof. So the same thing goes for the Mark Whipple and Frost situation that you're talking about, is if something goes wrong and he gets asked and people are like, why didn't Scott Frost jump in? Well, it's because you asked for him to step back and let Mark Whipple handle things.
Like, what? This is what you
This
asked
is
for.
what you asked
What
for.
more do you want, right?
Yeah.
I think some fans will react that way.
I can't agree more.
Yeah. Well, okay, Mark Whipple is a guy that has had a long career as a play caller. He's been in college. He's been at all ranks in college. He's been in the NFL. Unlike most of the guys that have been on under Frost since he's got here. If Whipple makes a call and it doesn't work, I'm okay with that though. Like I'm not mad at Scott Frost because the play didn't work, because he is letting Whipple call the plays. If Scott oversteps his boundary and says, "No, we're running this play. We're running out of the shotgun on the 1 yard line because that's my system. I want us to execute my system."
Well, and that works, right?
That's no, it has not worked yet.
Okay, listen. To be fair, earlier in that game, they did that with Ramir Johnson, and he did score. My argument against that is you mitigate and you lessen the
Fall
amount.
over,
Reduce risk.
fall over,
Mitigate risk.
line up under
You
center
mitigate
and
risk
fall over.
by just going under
Yeah.
center.
Mike, finish your
I know.
statement.
But
sorry.
Whipple's he's been in the NFL. Okay, in the NFL, they actually line up under center. I know it's crazy to think about in college football, especially at Nebraska, because we haven't lined up under center. But if you line up under center and you just fall over with your 6 foot quarterback, 6 foot can get you a yard. Believe it or not. I know what 6 inches looks like, but 6 foot can get you a yard.
You don't know what 6 inches looks like. Don't lie to us. Don't lie to us.
Yeah,
Well, he's seen it on someone else.
yeah,
yeah.
I've seen a lot of videos.
Well,
so just fall over.
But here's the thing: I don't want you to focus on that one play. It
I'm
could
not.
be-
I'm not.
It's any questionable play that happens.
Yeah.
And my basic question is: are fans gonna give Frost shit for it, or are they gonna give Whipple shit for it? And I think it's gonna change based on how well they're doing up until that point. Like if they're 5-0 and they lose a game because of a stupid play call, I think they're going to be more willing to blame Whipple than Frost because they're 5-0. Things are going okay.
I think you're totally correct in saying that this is going to be a very situational thing. I think when things go bad, Frost is going to get the blame.
Yes.
I think when things go well, Whipple will get the credit.
Yeah.
And this may be a good segue into another point that I know we talked about earlier, is Mike Farrell, a friend of the pod, has been a guest very recently. Sure. Recently ranked Mark Whipple as a top 5 play caller in the NCAA.
Yeah.
So I think it's very easy to give him credit when he succeeds and fault Frost when we don't.
Scott is ultimately going to turn into a scapegoat. I totally agree.
Yeah. I think it's very easy to attribute failures to Frost and very easy to attribute success to Whipple because of, we've seen repeated success from Whipple. He took Kenny Pickett, this is not any Kenny Pickett, denigration or anything, but he broke Dan Marino's records. That's insane. And so I think it's very easy to, again, we have, and it sucks to say, but we've seen a history of failure with Frost, and Whipple has consistently been successful, and I think that's really how things are going to go. Like you said, I think Frost might be used as a scapegoat if things don't go that well this season.
Yeah, you threw out the top 5 coordinator play caller was the thing.
Play caller, yeah.
And so, that was going to be my my question in general was, do you even agree with that to begin with? Is he a top 5 play caller? And look, I'm a little skeptical of that, of course, because that's my nature. He leaves Pitt. You'd think that if he was a top 5 play caller that they'd want to hold on to him, but he left Pitt. I don't know the exact situation there. He goes to Nebraska, not exactly a top 5 job, and so is it recency bias? You got to think with Kenny Pickett and Jordan Addison, he had those playmakers. Hey, give the ball to that guy. KISS, keep it simple, stupid, right? Mm-hmm. Who are the playmakers here that's going to keep him in that top 5 play caller ranking? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Who knows? People will say Trey Palmer.
Well, back to what Mitch Sherman said when he was on here too. It's like, Whipple, he's going to take the job serious, but if it doesn't work and Scott Frost is the scapegoat, Whipple's gone and he'll just cash in his check from Nebraska and he's okay with that. Yeah. So obviously he's going to take the job serious, but he knows the risk versus reward. There's really like zero risk of him coming to Nebraska because he's going to get a fat paycheck for retirement. And he knows that if his offense sucks, Scott Frost still gets played. So it doesn't matter.
Right. Damn it, Scott. And Scott's he's doing that John Travolta meme where he's like, looking around.
I think my biggest concern with Whipple is the offense he ran at Pitt compared to I think what will reasonably work at Nebraska.
God,
Well, in the Big
you make up such a
Ten-
great point.
Yeah, it's like, is that spread pro-style offense going to work in the Big Ten? Who knows?
That is another
Yeah.
video
Yeah.
that I posted on the talks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
King.
Yeah, the TikTok king over here. But like that kind of offense doesn't really work in the Big Ten right now. And I want to be very clear that I'm emphasizing the words right now. We don't know how defenses might react to, a more air raid style offense. Not that it's entirely like an air raid, but it's not
60-40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the Big Ten, that's an air raid.
that ratio scares the bejesus out of me.
Yeah. So with that, are we in favor of a pro style quarterback?
I am.
A statue in the backfield? What do you think?
I don't really give a shit who plays quarterback as long as we win games.
I'm more like talking about like the play calling. So like, are you running the quarterback? Are you just focusing him standing there? Like what?
Put me on record right now that I am all about going pro style quarterback and going to a passing offense.
I want an offense that doesn't solely rely on its quarterback to win games. I want a traditional I-back focused offense, right?
You're not getting that Whipple.
And here,
No,
listen,
you're not.
Yeah, well, we don't need to get more into that, my thoughts, because we could go forever. Because the quarterbacks that you get at Nebraska, you're not going to get those consistent Elite 11 Arch Manning types. You're not going to get those type of quarterbacks. If you're in the Big Ten, can we please focus on the running game more and not relying on our quarterback to make throws in November, etc.? That's my thoughts.
Do you trust your O-line to help you get
No.
those runs? Yeah, so why are we like
Well,
I
that's-
understand like all of us want a very balanced offense, but at the moment, does anyone at this table sit here and trust our O-line to put us in positions to get those big runs done?
No.
Well, no, like 80% of Nebraska fans do. That's the crazy part is everybody's seeing all these numbers and 9-3, 8-4. No, do you realize that we lost two starting linemen off of our offensive line? We hired a guy who was the assistant offensive line coach for one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, and who has never been a full-time offensive line coach.
The one position that we need to be our best is our worst.
Oh, there are so many question marks.
It just is. So, yeah, Connor, you ask a great question. Do we trust this offensive line to get the job done? I say no.
I hope.
And you say, well, that's why they should do. No, that's why they shouldn't have hired Mark. Anyway,
Yeah.
but that's the bigger picture thing for me is Frost in general, I don't think will work. Okay, that's why I don't think he should be the head coach, because I don't think what he prioritizes works in this conference in particular. That's my opinion. The O-line's not good this year, unfortunately. So hopefully they can get the ball to playmakers. Hopefully Trey Palmer will be a 70 catch, 1,200-yard guy. What are the odds, though?
Yeah.
If we get, let's call it 9 wins this season. If we get 9 wins this season, will you commit right now to getting a Scott Frost tattoo?
I will be in hell frozen.
with a
Frosted.
with a crown on top.
A Burger King ass crown.
Will you commit to a Scott Frost tattoo if we get 9 wins this season?
I mean, is it like his face, like with the chaw in his mouth? Like
You could do a jersey, you could do a face. It just has to be
I love Frost on your
identifiable
ass.
as
hashtag feeling frosty.
Hashtag TikTok King loves Frost.
We'll figure out the logistics.
He's not denying it.
We'll figure it out later. Let's get to 9 first, and then we can talk about the Frost face on my ass. Okay.
Okay, so you're committed.
Listen,
okay, 9
let's
wins,
get there
we're
first.
good. Yeah.
Hey, that's your national championship quarterback, so it doesn't matter. It's a win-win, right?
Yeah.
Listen, he is a legend in his own right, just not as a coach. Mike,
Way to gloss
What?
over that.
we have just refilled our beverages, our refreshments. Did anybody get anything different?
Yeah.
Mike? Mike?
Oh, I see Mike did.
Mike.
Well, I went to this is the first time I've ever got this fancy-ass glass.
Yeah, it's because I don't like you. And
Is
I
that a
normally fill
tulip?
them.
Is that tulip? Tulip?
It's like a wine glass without the stem, so that's kind of cool. I got the Pog Seltzer, also known as the Pod Seltzer on the pod. It's very good. I let some people in the crowd try it out. They all thought it was very good. So, if you guys are listening or if you're in the crowd and you need a seltzer recommendation, the Pod Seltzer, a.k.a. Pog, is available behind the bar.
I saw at least 150 people get up to go get that. As soon
Hell
as you
yeah!
said
Look
that.
at them. The line,
Dude,
the line
Mike,
is forming.
Yeah, you guys can't hear it because Mike edited it out. All the chairs scraped against the floor when they got up.
It was insane.
Yeah. Fellow audience member, we told him to get the no Bach, no rock beer. It is still on tap. You guys come into the tap room and get it, please. It is good. Connor, what have you done for us? Just real quick, because we got to get to our next topic. Because Kyle is itching
I'm
like
itching
a
over here.
like a leper or something over here. Tell us a little bit more about our Bach and what you've done with it.
So it's very exciting news. The No Bach, No Rock has officially been entered in the United States Beer Tasting Championship.
Woo!
It is a big deal. I honestly believe if you have been fortunate enough to come in and try it while it's still here, I think this is a beer that's coming home with a medal. It is very well made. It's made for a great podcast, and I say that while being very biased.
Yeah.
But it is an incredible Bach beer, very traditional style Bach, very caramely, a little bit roasty. It's incredible. Just seriously, while there's still some left, it is flying. Come get it.
Yeah.
We are in no position to ask for a gold. I'm happy with a bronze, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
In
saying?
a picture with the medal. That's all I want.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's a medal for the podcast. It's not a medal for the beer. Fuck the beer. No, I'm
And a
kidding.
medal for
No,
the listeners.
Yeah, no, that is a medal for everybody involved.
Hell yeah.
You could become award-winning listeners.
Yeah.
And that's not trademarked. Whatever other podcast has that, you can't fight me.
Okay, Kyle wants you to shut up. We need to get into this topic. Okay, just real quick. USC and UCLA are coming to the Big Ten. What? Kyle, you question what this can do with recruiting. A lot of people said this is a positive. You go into California, you get those players. Why is it probably not a good thing in your opinion?
Yeah. So the Calibraska movement, right? Yeah. It's coming back.
I got my shirt, baby. I got my shirt.
Yep. So it's coming back, right? But I haven't really heard anybody talking about the negative side of this. Okay. You look at Malachi Coleman. The guy could probably play anywhere he wanted to, and he's been offered by everybody.
Wearing Georgia gloves in his video.
Yep. So
Nebraska gloves.
He's been offered by everybody, right? Okay, so now you get in the mind of Malachi Coleman, and you say, okay, well, I'd still like to stay kind of close to home, but I could also play for two teams that are joining the Big Ten and play Nebraska once a year or, every other year, whatever the case might be, because we're the closest to the Big Ten that those guys in the West are.
San
right?
Diego of the Big Ten.
So Malachi Coleman's thinking, well, okay, I could live in California. I could play for Lincoln Riley. I could most likely win. And I could still come home and play a home game or, an away game at Nebraska one time a year or every other year. Like, that's kind of what I'm thinking. These big-time recruits that have even considered Nebraska, now they're looking at, okay, well, I could live in California and still play in the Big Ten.
So are we looking at, instead of a Calibraska movement, are we looking at a Nebralifornia? Like,
how long have you been waiting to use that?
Yeah, you've been
approximately a minute and a half. I've just been waiting for that statement to end.
Speaking of memes, you're that meme with the red-faced kid?
Yeah, just my veins were sticking out of my neck.
California.
It's a Nebralifornia because you made an excellent point. If I got a chance to play in the Big Ten, and I had the choice to play at Nebraska and live in Nebraska year round, or I was living in LA and I played in the Big Ten, an incredible. Like, I don't think anyone is going to sit here and say the Big Ten is not one of the best conferences in college football.
Shut up, Brett.
Yeah, Brett. Yeah, be quiet.
Iowa State fucking guy.
But if I had the choice to play in that conference and live in Lincoln, Nebraska, or in LA, why the fuck would I choose Lincoln, Nebraska?
Right, you're going to be coming home once a year or every other year anyway.
You're still going to be here. You'll still see your family, your friends, whatever. Why would I stay here?
Okay. Let me jump into it real quick.
Jump.
It's very simple. Money.
Ooh.
LA. Guess what LA has? They have
Money.
the Lakers. They have the Dodgers.
Taxes.
They have.
Oh, no, we got taxes, bro.
Not
we
LA
do. We
Tigers.
do in Nebraska,
Yeah.
don't we? Yeah, that's true.
Focus on ourselves.
California is a very professional, sports-driven place, and college football is represented by a lot of schools in the Big Ten that are more college football-based. So my thing is there's going to be more NIL opportunities in these more college football-based states and programs. So I think that, yeah, you could go play for UCLA, but you're going to make, $500,000, where if you come to, Michigan, Ohio State, Nebraska, you might make, upwards of $1 million. So it's all about money. We all it's a new age in college football.
To that point, though, for players that are looking to, get put on the spotlight and, go to the NFL, at what point does a marginal, pay increase? Let's say if you are going to get paid more at Nebraska, but you're going to get more eyes on you at UCLA, USC, where does that value lie? I think a lot of both the weather and the eyes on those programs is going to be, innately more valuable. And maybe that's just me, but I feel like that's going to be more valuable for some of these guys that are looking to go to the next level.
I think if you compare a UCLA to a Nebraska to eyes on a TV, they're not even close.
Like, yeah, we did add them, for their markets
Yes.
and the TV markets. Of course we did.
Yeah, I think it'd be insane to say that they aren't valuable markets.
They are valuable
They're
to a TV deal and like, big picture, yes. But
there's a reason why they're going to the Big Ten.
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Because the Pac-12 is dying. A lot of these conferences are dying.
Well, the reason why those two in particular are coming to the Big Ten is because of the TV market.
Yeah,
Like, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
But I don't think the amount of eyes that you get, even at USC, where sometimes their stadium doesn't even fill up, by the way. Just
not
saying.
even close.
And so I don't think the difference in eyes from USC to Nebraska is that much different. Even if USC is more, it's not going to be like significant, like, oh my, 3 extra people saw me play. It's going to be like that.
But then again, so let's say either way, we call it, a marginal difference in eyes. Factor in the weather.
Well, of course.
Factor in not living in Lincoln, Nebraska
Of
during the
course.
shitty weather.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge draw. And I think that's why, like Kyle said, we might see a lot of these, higher tier Nebraska, like Nebraska natives, leaving the state to go to these other Big Ten programs where they don't have to deal with this shit.
And you know what
win.
else?
But there's only
And get
two.
wins.
There's only 2 programs at the moment that don't have to deal with this shit, and that's the 2 teams from California. The rest of them, you're dealing with more shit, probably moving towards the east. So.
Exactly. So I think that's why it's got to be Nebraska. Like
Stop
they're
that.
gonna move.
Dude, just
towards
stop
the
using
west.
that, please, right now.
I will not do that.
Either stop, make a shirt then. I'll buy it. I'll wear it.
Done.
Um,
The Bralifornia shirt's coming up soon.
The Bralifornia shirt's coming next week.
Tote bags following.
Shut up about the fucking tote bag.
I will not do that.
The weather is not the only thing either. You have to remember who just went to USC as a head coach.
Lincoln,
Goddamn
Nebraska,
Riley.
Lincoln Riley.
Listen,
right?
if Lincoln Riley,
His middle name's Nebraska. I've heard that.
if Lincoln Riley does what people think, it's going to be that much harder if Lincoln comes calling. And not Lincoln, Nebraska, Lincoln Riley, right? So it's going to be that much more of a pull. Not just the weather, but the head coach as well. He's like, oh, this dude has a history of winning, et cetera, et cetera. So, hey, good point. But I will also say there's a lot of schools in Texas, and, like, we recruited Texas well. Doesn't mean we can't go into California and pull out the occasional hootie-dootie, whatever.
And one more point on that, too, is the schools in California have to want to reach out to a guy in Nebraska, Iowa, et cetera, in the Midwest.
It's going to take more work
because
for them.
there's so much more talent in the West Coast, and they have that.
Sure.
That's their bread and butter. Why reach out to players in the Midwest when they don't really need to?
They're going to need to, though, because you look at all the Big Ten schools. Where are they recruiting out of?
Well, and
Big Ten territory.
Yeah.
Because you have to, the offensive line, the defensive line, all the guys, all the bread and butter things of the Big Ten. You can look, we watched what happened when Scott Frost came in and started recruiting his guys from Florida and all this other stuff. And 4 years, and that's obviously not just the only reason.
Right.
4 years we lose, right? But they're quickly going to realize, USC and UCLA, they're quickly going to realize that we need different bodies out here.
totally agree. So, I mean, you look at USC and UCLA, they're running pro-style offenses.
Yeah.
And again, we don't know if Nebraska is going to transition to something like that in the near future. It is totally a mystery at the moment, I think, for most of us. However, if I was USC and UCLA, I'm going to try and adapt very quickly to, I need a big line. And I need guys that are going to be hard-nosed, like beat the shit out of the guy from across them. And that's what the Big Ten is built around. And I think that's where you're going to see those West Coast schools reaching more into the Midwest to find those big corn-fed boys.
Wish Scott Frost did that.
He
Okay.
tried.
No, he didn't. Sorry, guys. I just had to throw it in. Okay, so that's going to wrap up kind of our topics for the night. Cool?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, Mr. John Grady over here in the audience. What's up? Shout out to John Grady.
He is one of 350 in the line right now.
Can you hear us, John? John! Okay, so he wanted us to touch on Brett Ciancia, who runs Pick Six Previews. Yep, I heard you with your megaphone. Yep.
Yeah, he's so far away.
So he projected Nebraska to finish second, not first, second in the Big Ten West, not fifth, second in the Big Ten West.
Yikes.
And 30th overall in the nation. Now, I think what John was trying to get at was maybe that's a little too positive thinking. Perhaps just a little too positive. Just considering what's happened before, Brett Ciancia is expecting a significant turnaround. If you finish second in the West, that probably means that you're winning 8 games.
Yeah.
Maybe 9.
I think
right?
8 would be a minimum to get second in the West.
So, I mean, how are we thinking about that, guys? You have Brett Ciancia, a national guy. He's not a local dude. Usually, and this is a great topic because it's usually the local media that's a little more positive on Nebraska and the national guys saying, screech your brakes a little bit. But now it's the opposite.
2 words.
What?
Clickbait.
Okay.
And our friend in the crowd, John Grady, fell for the clickbait.
You clicked on it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Good job.
There is a
Okay.
very easy way to get Nebraska fans to react to your content and make you more money. Tell them they're going to be good.
Tell them they're going to be good or tell them they're going to be bad.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Right? It has to be
going
one
to
of the
hate
extremes.
you or love you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mike Farrell told us himself. He said all the time they used to just throw Nebraska's name on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and whatever platforms they're on,
Foaming at the mouth.
literally just for the content click.
Yes.
They're fucking like
Gimme.
Nebraska fans are rabid. I say they. I'm the same way.
Give me
more.
We are rabid fans. We know if you give us anything super positive or super negative, you know Nebraska fans are going to be in your mentions within 30 seconds.
Feed me.
If we sat down with him, do you really think that he would speak to that? Like,
Who, Brett Ciancia?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. You
Yeah, he really believes it.
yeah.
Genuinely.
I think he would tell you that he fucking lied.
Maybe.
But listen, he's not alone in thinking the national guys are a little more positive on it because they look at the past couple years and they say it just
FPI.
has to flip.
they're close.
It has to flip, right?
Yeah.
The percentages and it has to flip.
Yeah.
Whereas the local media, now they're the more negative ones saying, show me first, etc. But now it's flipped this year. So it's not a total surprise. Yeah, but to be fair, if he wanted more clicks, he would have put number 1. Big Ten West, number 1.
No, but
Fuck Iowa.
I think
Wisconsin's nothing. Nebraska's the best.
I think putting Nebraska at
GBR.
number 1. I think putting Nebraska at number 1 is just like
Yeah, that would be a little.
it's just a straight lie.
Yeah.
It's got to be believable,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
he has to temper it a
You
little.
put them near the top, and Nebraska fans are just rock hard immediately. Like you put them near the top, and everyone's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
fuck yeah!"
Yeah, that
You put them at the top, and Nebraska fans like, "Okay, I don't even believe that."
that thump in the table is
Yeah.
not me hitting it.
Yeah.
Okay, just saying.
But yeah, like Mike said, I think you got to make it believable. I still think it's a clickbait thing. I love it.
I clicked on.
I'm gonna lie to myself for the next 39 days. I'm gonna lie to myself for the next.
I'm gonna pay
39 days.
$5.99 for that subscription, right?
No shit.
That guy says nice things.
But
I like Brett.
yeah. I think saying that we're number 2 in the West is just an absolute fucking farce. Like that's so insane to say.
It's just, I mean, and you know, like looking at the national media and stuff, those guys are looking at FPI rankings and all this other stuff that's coming out. Look, the FBI ranking said that we won 9 games last year.
And how many did we win?
3.
Oh, so the opposite of 9.
You guys, can
so
you
the
just
literal opposite.
can you just take a deep breath? Okay.
No.
It's year 5 in the Scott Frost era. Year 5. And we are looking at a projected second place finish in the West.
And we're creaming our
As
pants.
no. We're questioning if he even means it.
Right.
Like, don't you understand how much of a colossal failure this has been?
Oh yeah, no, I think that's something that's really important to address and to, I guess, not address, but like for all the Husker fans listening, if you've been watching Husker football over the last, let's call it 10 years, understand your life is pain.
Yeah.
Understand that
All I know is pain.
and accept it. And
We're an emo song.
again, I think, you know, as we go into this, we've said it a million times over the last, I don't know how many episodes, that this is a very critical year. accept your life as pain, but understand that progress can be made.
Connor.
And expect reasonable progress. Don't get yourself out of your head. Don't expect a 9-3 season. Don't expect second in the Big Ten West. Hope and expect improvement. And that's where the fan base needs to be right now. And I think with this coaching change and with all these incredible players like O'Shawn Mathis, Casey Thomas coming in, don't expect anything spectacular. Just hope for improvement. That's how it doesn't happen overnight.
Just win.
It sucks
Just
because
win.
we look at second place in the West in year 5 as something spectacular.
Yeah, it
Just
does
put that-
suck.
just put that in
It
perspective.
does suck, but that's
No,
the position
listen,
we're in.
And like you went kind of deep on that. I like the pain. I like it.
Yeah.
That's why we're sitting here
Keep-
talking about it every week.
Exactly.
Keep them on the staff. I love the pain. Okay, did we have?
We have one more question.
We got one more
from
ponderation
from Clark Wilms over there. We got a question.
Yeah.
Give us all of them.
So a lovely audience member was questioning the strength and conditioning of the past 6-7 years. Right? It goes past Frost, right? Goes into the Riley era. Like he was questioning whether or not they're fit enough to be in the Big Ten, and it could be a lack of will, right? A lack of, want to, I guess. And I would hate to be the one to question a player's effort. I don't want to do that. But I will say, I will push back a little bit. A narrative that you hear is that Nebraska has adapted to the Big Ten physically.
They look the part.
Remember, they're the all-bus team. That's what an assistant coach. And listen, I know you. I'm just saying what I've seen and heard from other people. I'm not an expert by any means. Trust me. I know I look like you, but I mean, shut up.
You're TikTok.
I'm TikTok. Shut up.
TikTok king.
Hey, it goes beyond TikTok. I'm more than TikTok.
No.
But you've heard that they're the all-bus team, but it's when it comes time to the third quarter, the fourth quarter, we just got to hang back, and they're going to do something stupid, and it's all in their heads, not necessarily something physical. Now, that's just what I've seen and heard.
Yeah.
You guys, if you want to add up to...
Yeah.
Okay, so
Right.
4 years ago we played Michigan, right? And we got steamrolled. And Scott Frost stepped out in front of the media and said, "Yeah, we just absolutely were not. We weren't the same size. We
weren't ready.
Yeah, we were not physically prepared to play a team like Michigan."
He
at
said that
time.
about Iowa, too. They're
he
bigger than us or stronger than us.
Yep.
So he said that right 4 years ago, and I don't personally I don't see Nebraska being physically overwhelmed in any of the games. Ohio State, Michigan, Iowa, any of that stuff. It's all these little miscues and all these failures on special teams, all the turnovers, that's what's getting us beat. I personally don't see that the strength and conditioning is a real issue right now. It's all the little details that you find at Wisconsin and Iowa and Northwestern and realistically everywhere else.
So to tag on to what Clark is talking about, Zach Duvall, is he qualified to be a Big Ten Power 5 strength coach?
Well, probably not. I don't know.
Probably not. Okay, let's tag it there first. Is he qualified? Look at his credentials. I mean, he's a Boyd Epley, lineage guy, right? But here's the thing. It goes back to, I think the guys look the part. We are the all-bus team, but it goes back to in between the ears. When the game's on the line, there is something in the water. There's something in the walls of Memorial Stadium or whatever.
They drink their own Kool-Aid.
Yeah, the Iowa game is a perfect example last year. One mistake when you still had the lead and somehow the game was over. You knew the game was over.
It was over.
It wasn't a physical thing. We were dominating the entire game. Michigan State, we were dominating the entire game,
Dude,
and you
not
still
just,
lose the game.
Dude, dominating is an understatement in that game.
Yes.
The defense, they had... God, they're freaking...
Frankly, kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah.
For a
running
large
back-
majority of that game.
was
You
a-
held a Heisman contender.
Kenneth Walker, right?
Yes.
You chokeholded him the
Yes.
whole game, and you fucking lost.
Yes. So I don't think it's a physical thing. It comes down to X's and O's and then the mentality and the culture that exists right now in Nebraska.
And on that, they do those anonymous ask a coach about your opponents and everything like that. And one coach talked about Nebraska and said, well, he's like, look, they come onto the field and you're like, holy shit, we're gonna get steamrolled out here because they're bigger than us, they're more athletic than us, and then you just, like you said, you just wait for them to lose themselves. You just wait for them to beat themselves, and that's been the story of Nebraska for 3 years now.
If I had to describe the recent era of Nebraska football, I could use 4 words: physically strong, mentally weak.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, that's the team. This is a team that, I mean, last year, again, I hate to keep beating that drum. 3-9, ton of close games. But I think it's relevant. This was a team that could win. Yeah, thank you for the ding. But I think what ultimately cost us most of those games was just mental weakness. These are guys that are physically prepared, but not ready to be put under stress.
So I guess I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Go on.
So
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Between the ears.
between there, right.
for those of you that could not hear the comment,
He said, Connor, you're right.
yeah, he did say Connor.
Yeah,
you're
make
right.
sure you clarify that,
Yeah,
Connor.
I want to be very clear. I take the wins where I get them. But it is a mental weakness. These guys are not, ill prepared in the weight room. They are not ill prepared in practice. But as soon as you put them under stress, things just start to crumble. And I think that's really where we need to start addressing things is, like you said, we addressed the Iowa game where we were, in all senses, just beating the shit out of them. And as soon as we'll call it a relatively large mistake happened.
It was a big mistake.
Yeah.
Adversity struck.
Yeah. And then it snowballed. And then it is just impossible to recover from that mentality, seemingly. And hopefully with this new coaching staff, we, to be nice about it, unfuck it.
Yeah.
Just unfuck that mentality. But that has been the biggest issue is the mental part of the game.
Will they be able to unfuck that mentality, your words, with the same head coach? Or is it the head coach that's the problem? I mean, that's kind of the crux of the question. You can change the strength coach all you want. I don't see players doing bicep curls with their brains.
Yeah.
It's their brains are scrambled. I mean, that's what it is. It's not the strength coach. I think it's the head coach. I don't know exactly what it is, but there's something about him that just, when it comes to crunch time, when it comes to game management, brains get scrambled, coaches get scrambled, players get scrambled. There's something that's missing.
I think that the easiest, and I say this as I don't want to shock anybody. I've never coached a D1 program.
Weird.
Yeah. But my thought would be that, in practice, in these, as we're leading up to games, that we need to be putting these players in more stressful scenarios all the time, where you need to understand every goddamn play is win or lose.
We need to waterboard them.
Yeah. I've reached out to my buddies at Guantanamo. They are not super in on that proposition.
We're known as Guantanamo U now.
Yeah.
GU. Put that on the helmet. Put them, dude. Let's do some CIA ops. Like, seriously, you think I'm put them in a sensory deprivation tank? Whatever you got to do, dude.
Yeah. I mean, you need to put these guys in stressful situations and do it very consistently to get them on board with when you get into a shitty situation where you're down 3 with a minute and a half. It's time to do your goddamn job.
You put them through something that's just hell. So when it comes time for the actual game, you're like,
well, this is nothing.
What is this?
Yeah.
This is water off a duck's back.
Again, I'm not sitting in on these practices. I'm not sitting in on any of that. So I don't know, but I feel like that has been an area that we might have lacked in the last few seasons, because again, when we start facing adversity, the team seems to crumble. So I think maybe putting them in a situation where you're really forcing pressure all the time might help that.
Last comment on that, and I think we can wrap up. Your team takes on the identity of your head coach. Okay. In those close games, Scott Frost has looked more stressed. I mean, he looked very
disheveled.
Yeah,
that's a nice.
There's not even a word for it.
Disheveled.
The farthest thing from confident in winning a game than you can possibly see, and you see it in your players. So going back to that, like I said, your team takes on the identity of your coach. Until Scott Frost learns how to win games, the team's not going to learn how to win games.
They need a break, though.
Yeah, that bald-headed dick in Minnesota seems to be pretty confident, so maybe get some stuff from him.
Hey, he has a different face. He has a different face now.
Fuck PJ Fleck.
Yeah.
Hey, he's different now. He's not the same PJ as before. He has a new face.
Yeah, fuck that PJ too.
Fair enough.
Fuck all of them.
Listen, I'm not gonna die on the fucking PJ Fleck hill.
I will,
even though I think he was a good coach. Okay, are we good? Okay. Hey guys in the audience, go to NBNRpodcast.com. You will find past episodes there. You will find merch. You will find merch that Mike is wearing. God, dude, you look good.
You look all right. I'll give it,
Okay, yeah, you're right. I was being a little generous.
I will give you a 7.5, 8 maximum.
That's cool.
It looks like you.
That's great.
Looks like you've been out in the sun a little while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
110 heat in Texas. All right, that's no shit. But guess what? Horns down.
Horns down, baby.
Don't get it twisted. Augie Garrido is a great coach. He's a GOAT coach, but it's horns down, right, Brett?
Horns
Put them
down.
there. It is.
Brett, put them down, baby.
Okay, yeah. Anywhere you find your podcast, we are there. Spotify, Apple, podcast.com. We're there. Give us a 5-star review if you can. Give us a download, whatever. Please help us out. We need that help.
Add us on MySpace.
We'll put you in our top 10.
Go follow our TikTok. Kyle is posting things every day on TikTok.
No, Jared is the TikTok king, and
So-
he knows it.
You guys, there's nothing left to talk about on TikTok. Let's sign off. I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall.
Kyle Byers.
Mike Delaware.
And Connor Cavalack.
And as always, GBR.